Hi, I'm Rick Bayless, and I'd like to invite you on a journey with me through a different Mexico.
For more than 30 years, Rick Bayless has taken us all on an incredible journey through the cities, the markets, the culture, and especially the food of Mexico. The journey for Rick didn't start in Mexico or even Chicago. It started in Oklahoma City, specifically in his parents' barbecue restaurant. Rick worked in the restaurant starting at the age of 7, and it's there that he gained a deep appreciation for food and for the restaurant business. When Rick was 11, he watched every episode of The French Chef. He wrote down the recipes from television and tackled them at home. Rick has said he was completely transfixed by the complexity and precision Julia Child brought to her recipes. When he was 14, he convinced his parents to go to Mexico for a family vacation. He immediately fell in love with the country. It has held his fascination ever since. After attending the University of Oklahoma, he pursued his postgraduate work at the University of Michigan. That's where he met his wife and his partner in life, Deanne. Deanne and Rick lived and traveled throughout Mexico for 7 years, researching and writing their first book, Authentic Mexican. It was a landmark edition. The very same day in 1987 that Rick and Deanne received their first printed copy of their book, they also opened their first restaurant, Frontera Grill. The restaurant in Chicago's River North neighborhood promised a different take on Mexican food that most Americans were familiar with at the time. Boy, did it deliver. 2 years later, Rick and Deanne opened Topolobampo. Fine dining meets Mexican cuisine, something rarely seen in this country. In an almost unheard-of run of success, both restaurants are still going strong after nearly 30 years. In recent years, Rick and his partners have opened up a string of other successful restaurants in Chicago and around the country. Just this year, Rick opened Frontera Cocina at Disney World in Orlando. And back home in Chicago, Cruz Blanca and Línea Brava are his latest successful destinations. And while his restaurant empire has expanded, the quality has only gotten better. Rick's restaurants have won numerous James Beard Awards and even a Michelin star. To help the farmers who provide the backbone of the Midwest food system, Rick and Deanne founded the Frontera Farmer Foundation in 2003, providing grants to assist family farmers in the Chicago area. Rick's written 9 cookbooks, with his second book, Mexican Kitchen, winning the Julia Child IACP Award for Best Cookbook of the Year. Speaking of Julia Child,
Chef Rick is now going to do us a chili glazed country pork ribs. That's going to be wonderful. I love
ribs. Don't you love ribs?
I love ribs.
In 1992, the kid who grew up watching Julia on television appeared alongside her. Rick has made dozens of TV appearances throughout the years, from Iron Chef America to Top Chef Masters, where he won it all in the show's first season. And oh yeah, of course Rick has his own show, Mexico One Plate at a Time.
Beautiful abundance here at the fresh vegetable stall is really cool because they've got all these ingredients that we don't see in the United States.
Since 2003, Rick has taken public television viewers throughout the streets and markets of Mexico and back into his home to share the recipes and techniques of Mexican cuisine, sometimes with his daughter Lainey. Today, the show is still going as strong as ever, with multiple Emmy nominations, and Rick is still cooking with Lainey.
Now we're just going to process it all together.
In 2010, a couple of frequent guests to his restaurants asked Rick to cook in their home. Those guests just happened to be Michelle and President Barack Obama. They asked him to cook the state dinner at the White House for the visiting Mexican president. And in 2012, the Mexican government awarded Rick the Order of the Aztec Eagle, the highest honor that can be given to a foreigner. Rick has even written and starred in his own successful stage production. With all those accolades and endeavors, is it any wonder that Eater.com asked the question, is Rick Bayless the most interesting man in the world? Maybe that's true. But if there's one thing Rick has always been about, it's education. For his staff, his faithful TV audience, his cookbook readers, his restaurant guests, and for the long list of talent he's nurtured along the way. By our count, there are at least 19 Frontera alumni who've gone on to open successful restaurants in Chicago and beyond. Rick Bayless has been teaching all of us for decades, and we are all the richer for it.